Howdy folks, Feanor here, and thank you for spending time together with me on the internets. In today's video, I'm going to discuss how to go about starting a cryptocurrency mining business. This is something I've done myself at numerous times. I'm running one operation currently, but for the purposes of my 1,000 Days to Financial Freedom project, I'm not going to be including those numbers in the results because it did require a fairly significant capital investment, and we're trying to focus on things that are as close to free as possible or requiring minimal capital investment at most. So to start, I'm not really going to rehash the history of cryptocurrency or anything like that. There's tons of information available on the web. I'm sure you can easily Google it up and read about that if you're so inclined. But we'll start with the technical question of what is crypto mining in a layman's terms elevator speech style. Basically, crypto mining occurs when you solve a cryptographic hash that is a particular type of mathematical equation that essentially has to be brute forced. There's no way to kind of use advanced mathematical techniques to narrow down what the answer may be. You basically have to guess billions and billions and billions of times and then try and see if your guess fits the answer. So that's where computers come in. Computers are specialized at doing many, many millions or even billions of calculations each second, and that makes them the most efficient tools for crypto mining. The way it works, the way it actually generates the currency for you, is when your computer is the one that solves a particular cryptographic hash, you are rewarded with one or more blocks on the blockchain of the individual cryptocurrency. There's also some rewards to doing transaction verification, but that typically is a much smaller percentage than actually solving new blocks. So yes, you can make money doing transaction verification, and you typically will do some of that also if you're using automated solutions for crypto mining, but the big bucks come in the block solving. So how to get started? It's an excellent business idea for anyone that has, I would say, intermediate computer skills. If you have no computer skills whatsoever, you probably are going to need to hire someone that has the computer skills. So what computer skills are needed? Basically, it's hardware expertise. If you are capable of putting together your own computer, like you can buy all the parts individually and assemble them into a working computer, you're probably pretty close to where you need to be in terms of personal expertise. There's also a lot of video tutorial content out there on the web related to this sort of stuff. So if you have a technical mind and are pretty good working with your hands, even if you've never built a computer before, you can probably teach yourself how to do so in an afternoon or two. On top of that, you're going to want to have some knowledge about the hardware itself. Specifically, you're going to want to look at things like power requirements of the various components inside the computer, how it's cooled, because crypto mining typically will cause your computer to run quite hot. You don't want to risk damaging your components by having it overheat, things like that. How to evaluate different motherboards in terms of the available slots they might have for GPUs and stuff like that. So even if you can put together a computer from scratch, you may require a little bit of brushing up on how to monitor and manage some of the factors I just mentioned. Excuse me. On top of that, you're going to want to have some ability to troubleshoot potential hardware issues. When one of your mining rigs goes down, it sometimes can be difficult to figure out what exactly has happened. Was it your power supply that failed? Did you overheat and have the CPU automatically turn off to prevent damage? Did a hard drive that you have in a computer go bad? It could be, a variety of things that cause you issues with your mining rigs. So you're going to want some ability in troubleshooting to be able to determine, to determine exactly what is wrong with your rig when it experiences technical problems. Next, you're going to want to be sure that you're on top of software management, specifically updates. Whether these software updates are for things like your OS or operating system, as well as the mining software you're going to use, you have to make sure that you're able to stay on top of your software updates and keep everything up to date when you're running the mining rig. Hardware drivers can also be an issue here too. You're going to want to make sure that you're using the most recent version of all of your hardware drivers and stay on top of all of that stuff. So, assuming you have all those skills or are willing to pay someone who does have those skills to assist you, mining can be a pretty profitable side business to run. And when I say it does require significant capital investment, that isn't necessarily true to get started. You can probably get started for under $2,000 or so, but you're not going to be mining very much crypto with a single rig with just 1 or 2 GPUs inside it. One of the good things about mining is that it is completely scalable in a linear fashion. If you have 5 GPUs of a specific make and manufacture and you go to 10 GPUs split into 2 rigs, you will essentially double the amount of crypto you're mining on a monthly basis. So one of the benefits of this, if you're trying to get started and you don't have significant capital to invest, is that you can put a few $100s in here and there, buy new parts when you're able to find them, and slowly increase your mining capacity over time as you're able to invest into it. Another benefit of crypto mining is that the time to pay off your initial investment is usually pretty quick. I would say it hovers around 6 months, give or take, to reach the point at which the crypto you mine will have paid for your investment. So unlike stocks or bonds or something like that, where you might see, 10-15% annual return if you're lucky, meaning that with compounding and whatnot, you're probably looking at 6.5, 7 years, something like that, before you've actually doubled your money, or instead of looking at it as doubling it, paid for your initial investment. So crypto returns are significantly higher than what you're going to see with most alternative forms of investment. So how do you get started? Excuse me, boy, I'm a little congested today, apologies. So how you get started is by building your first mining rig. And the first challenge you're going to encounter when you're starting a crypto mining business is how you get some of the parts, specifically the GPUs or graphics cards. Most of the other parts that you'll need, you'll need cases, fans, motherboards, CPUs, hard drives, maybe some risers, a few other things here and there, a couple extra keyboards, a couple extra mice. Most of that hardware is pretty easy to obtain, and you should be able to do it just by visiting a computer store in your city or ordering online, no problem. But when it comes to graphics cards, it is a different story. For the past several years, graphics cards have been really driven up in price because of people mining crypto with them. Not long after the first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, was introduced, it was discovered that instead of solving these equations to earn your blocks using CPUs, which was what Bitcoin was originally designed for, miners discovered that GPUs, or graphics cards, were significantly more powerful in solving the cryptographic hashes necessary to mine the coin. So, since then, GPUs have been increasingly difficult to get, and the world is also facing an ongoing manufacturing shortage when it comes to the microchips used in their creation. This is why car manufacturers are having difficulty, putting new cars on the streets. There just aren't enough chips being manufactured to satisfy worldwide demand, and the barrier to entry when it comes to microchip manufacturing is extremely high. We're talking tens or probably more likely hundreds of millions of dollars to get a new chip fabricator up and running. And miners, because they're actually earning with these chips, as opposed to putting it into a car, putting it into a GPU that is used for someone to game on, things like that, are willing to pay a premium for the equipment, which makes them difficult to get. I currently live in a suburb of Houston, which is, I believe, the fourth largest city in the United States in terms of population. And in the entire Houston metro area, there is a grand total of one store, that would be Micro Center, that sells GPUs on the shelf. And they basically sell out within hours after receiving them in a shipment. So the last time I was actively buying GPUs there was maybe 6 months or so ago. And you would have people that would literally show up at the store the night before and camp out tailgate style overnight to be first in line, not even knowing if a shipment of graphics cards was going to come in that day. So you had to camp out outside the store and cross your fingers and pray that graphics cards were coming in the night that you decided to do that, or you would have wasted your time. A lot of the people who do pick them up instantly try to flip them on sites like OfferUp or eBay or something like that, because it is not uncommon to pay a multiple of about 2 to 3 times retail price to be able to get some of these GPUs. Another thing to keep in mind is not all GPUs are created equal. Some GPUs are useful for mining, some are not really usable at all for the process. For the ones that are usable for mining, there are going to be additional factors that may come into play. Power consumption is one of those that you have to look at. Once you've got your mining operation up and running, your only ongoing expense is going to be your power, and you do have to monitor that to make sure that you're not spending more on power than the card is mining in crypto. So technically you can go underwater if you're not careful in monitoring these sorts of things when you're setting up your mining operation. So back to what I was saying about the difficulty of obtaining GPUs. One of the techniques that I've had success with is looking for people selling their equipment on peer-to-peer sales sites like Facebook Marketplace type stuff or OfferUp or similar apps like that. I tend to avoid eBay because most of the people selling the cards on eBay are straight up card flippers who are looking to charge 200 to 300% retail for people who are desperate to game and can't get a graphics card. One other thing I've had success with is I don't even necessarily care that the card is new. It doesn't have to be unused. I will buy used cards from people, no problem. So another thing I pay attention to on OfferUp is I will look and buy someone's old gaming rig that they have. Or office computers tend not to work so well for this because graphics cards, high-end graphics cards, those that are capable of doing crypto mining, typically aren't installed in office computers because you don't really need a lot of graphical power to run Microsoft Office and stuff like that. If you can find used work computers from places that do have more graphical intense needs, maybe like architectural firms, people using CAD, or a media processing company, stuff like that, those can be good targets as well, but those types of businesses are more limited than just the general office computers. So I tend to focus on looking for people's old gaming rigs, and that typically has the benefit of providing a lot of the other pieces that I will need along with the GPU. So I'm mainly there for the GPU, but in the course of acquiring GPUs, I built up quite a stock of all of the stuff I mentioned earlier: CPUs, motherboards, cases, mice, keyboards, RAM, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, your main challenge really is going to be getting your hands on the GPUs. But as I said, that is something that you can do on a piecemeal basis. So you can just watch OfferUp, check every couple days, see what's available for sale, buy rigs that have nice GPUs inside them, and then cannibalize the rest of it for parts. And basically what you're going to be doing is assembling these into mining rigs. They will have an OS on them. I use Windows for all of my mining rigs currently, but you can use different OSs if you're so inclined. And they work really the same as full computers. They are a full computer. The only difference is that you're devoting all of its GPU and CPU power to crypto mining rather than running applications or games on them. So my mining rigs, I currently use motherboards that have 6 slots available for GPUs. So I will have one motherboard with 6 GPUs plugged into it. And the totality of that machine enclosed in a case is what I refer to as one mining rig. That really is about it. I'm going to be recording a second video shortly that shows how everyone can start crypto mining using the GPU inside their own computer without really impacting its performance or preventing you from doing any of the things that you normally do on your computer. Now, return on that isn't going to be great. You'll be lucky to see $1 or $2 per day. But even that, $1 or $2 per day is $350 to $720 a year. So that's not insignificant for a lot of people. That's a couple of car payments, a couple of insurance payments. So doing that in a way that costs you nothing other than the 20 minutes to set it up is a pretty smart move for most people. To scale that up to a full-blown mining operation is basically the same thing. You put multiple cards into one computer. You run the mining software on the computer, join a mining pool. I'll talk about what mining pools are and why it's smart to join them in my next video. But that is it. And then basically you just monitor your hardware on an ongoing basis. You make sure that temperatures aren't getting too high. You make sure that the mining rigs have good uptime and that they're not rebooting on you. You turn off automatic software updates on all the machines so that it doesn't reboot at 2 a.m. on you and then you've missed 7 or 8 hours of mining time until you get it up and running again. But like I said at the beginning of this video, that requires you to stay on top of your software updates and make sure that those are getting applied in a timely fashion. So that is how to set up a crypto mining business, a very kind of top-down overview. And it's not hard. The average person probably can do it themselves with just a little bit of education into hardware and how to assemble the components together. As for what return it gives, I would say that my GPUs on average are something like 6 months to pay for their cost. And then after that, it's all pure profit. And the GPUs themselves will last for years at this point with close to 100% uptime, mining the entire time. The GPUs are pretty sturdy little bits of machinery. They don't break often. They don't go down often. And yeah, at about 6 months to pay off. And then past that, I would say for about every $25,000 you're able to invest into mining equipment. Again, the lion's share of that is going to be towards GPUs. They are the single most expensive component you'll be using. They dwarf the cost of CPUs, motherboards, any of the other stuff we've gone over. But at about $25,000 invested, you're probably going to earn about $2 to $3K a month, I would say. The value of cryptocurrencies took quite a tumble about a week or two ago. But even with that tumble, I think they lost 20 to 30% of their value or so. Mining still is profitable and still outperforms most stock and bond and 401k style personal investments. So I hope you found this video informative. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of this content. I'll actually shoot to get 2 more videos up today. The next one will be on how you can mine on the computer that you're already using on a daily basis, your home machine. And the second one is going to be how you can get $500 to $1,000 free from credit card companies. So both of them are going to be shorter videos that are kind of specifically focused on one particular tactic that you can use to achieve passive income, rather than these longer format narrative videos that I've been doing so far. So again, please like, comment, and subscribe. I've also set up a Discord server that I intend to use for the community I'm trying to build. I'll leave a link to that in the description of the video. Feel free to join the server, come on in and say hello. You'll be able to see me there. My name is Feanor in the Discord, just like it is here. And because I don't really have a community just yet, I'm more than happy to help people out with individual questions. So if you have questions about passive income or mining or gaming or pretty much anything that you see me talking about, come on in and say hello, and I'll be happy to chat with you. So thank you very much for watching this video, and hope you all have a good week. Bye.